Hi! In this video, we will learn how to create a case type with a data model and views in App Studio. You can create a case type in App Studio, and in Dev Studio, the steps are the same. Click on Case Type, and then click on Add a Case Type. Type the name for your case type. For this exercise, we are creating a case to create and set up webinars from HR. In the advanced settings, you will be able to set up the class of the case type and the rule set. We click on Submit to create the case type. Once the case type is created, we can define stages and process. As a best practice, the process should not contain more than 10 steps. Now the case type is created. We click on the Dev Studio and we select App Studio. Pega recommends to use App Studio to define the process, views, and data model. App Studio is a low-code environment that will allow us to create modular views and data objects. We click on Case Types, select the case type that we just create. But first we have to define our data model to be able to have fields in our views. Click on Data. Here we will be able to see the data objects that we create and the case types data. If we click on HR Webinars, on the left side, we will be able to see the fields created on that level. To create a new data object, we click on New, then we type the data object name. If we click on Advanced, we can reuse assets from another data objects. We set leave like that and create the source data. Then we click on Next. In the connection details, we can define the system where we want this data object connects. You can have an external data source, and you will be able to connect it with this data object. For this example, we're going to select on Pega because it's a local data object. Now we're going back to visualize our data model, and we find webinar info as a new data object. Now we're going to link this data object with our case type. To do so, we create a field on HR Webinars case type. We define this field as embedded data to reference our new created data object. Now we made the relationship between our case type and the webinar data model. Now we can start to create the fields for the webinar data object. Be aware that the type field that you define here is the one that will show on the view. For example, if you define a field as a date type, on the view you will not be able to change the text or any other type. Once we have our fields created, we open the case type and define the views. Click on the assignment and then click on Configure View. We make sure that our data object is added to the case clicking on Data Model tab. Look for our data object and then add the fields. Then we test our work. We click on Preview and then create a webinar HR case. Then it will show as a form the fields that we added to the view. Sometimes working in App Studio saves time, and you can create data objects and assets that are reusable in any other case type. Please let me know in the comments if you have any questions. And please subscribe and like the videos. Thanks for watching.